Imagine your frustration after serving in the military and being exposed to life-threatening risk. You literally get little respect or recognition as you search for a career in the private sector. Tonight's show is about the severity of the problem and the efforts underway to help veterans make the transition to a professional career. My name is Jim Connor. Welcome to Game Changers Silicon Valley. My guests are Pedro Ramadi from a nonprofit, npower.org, a company that provides IT training to veterans, and Andy Carey, a veteran who faced this challenge despite the skills he had acquired in military service. Pedro and Andy, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
I'd like to start with you, Pedro, to give us an overview of how severe is the problem for veterans with significant military experience, now coming out and entering or attempting to enter the private sector.
Right. Well, I think the transition, the military does help with the TAP program, but that's a good starting point, but there needs to be a lot more. So that's where the nonprofit, like ourselves, npower, is here for. Sometimes it's the GI Bill is what they do to support themselves and their family, but what happens after they graduate, especially if they have a computer science background, but no practical application or no recognized certifications in the job market, and that's where we step in. We kind of help with the transition, resume, job hunting, professional development, and the certifications.
So I think what you're suggesting, if I get this right, is that despite the leadership experience and practical, perhaps technical experience they have, the best that most veterans do is just get into the GI Bill for education, but that doesn't help them actually use that experience to get a job.
Well, speaking for myself, yes. So it was definitely the transition from coming back from the Middle East. You go to college and everything's just a little bit different. You do that to either support yourself or your family, and then you find yourself, graduating, and then that's it. There's basically you have to get employment immediately to sustain yourself, and that's where the pressure comes in. And sometimes veterans are taking survival jobs just to make ends meet, and then they find themselves not being able to have enough time to go out, train themselves, or even look for a better job.
Andy, you're the guy that went to the military. I think you had a college degree before that, and you served the country well and admirably, and then tell us about your experience.
Sure, thank you for having me. I did serve in the U.S. Army as a network switching systems operator and maintainer from 2001 to 2005, after which I went to school in North Carolina, my home state, on the GI Bill. And that was a great benefit to veterans to do your service and then go to school on the GI Bill. So that was a good experience. Transferred and graduated to UNC Chapel Hill with a degree in information science. After that, I tried my hand at entrepreneurship for a few years with some moderate success, and then I went back to school for software engineering because I knew I had some skills, but I wanted to get deeper into the industry. So in Austin, Texas, I completed 1 year of graduate school in software engineering and then decided that I needed more experience in the industry. So last year, I moved out to the West Coast to San Francisco, and from that point on, it was quite difficult. It was a little stunning in terms of how the market perceives veterans or non-traditional candidates. So I worked a part-time job for 6 months, and I was learning programming on the side. So I was digging in to do some more self-study of programming. About 6 months later, I was searching for JavaScript training opportunities, and that's how I learned about npower and started that program.
What type of programs does npower offer then? I should get a little bit into that.
We start at the very beginning with the Tech Fundamentals program, and nationally we serve underserved youth and veterans. So that's kind of like our level 1 platform. And then for people with IT backgrounds in the military, they could either pick up an A+ certification, which is basically desktop support, or they could enroll in advanced certifications or cybersecurity, depending on what their background is. We also launched a coding program in Texas, and we're looking to add additional programs here in the Bay Area. Right now, we offer the Tech Fundamentals with the A+ certification and some functionality in the Macs and repairing those. And my program is Enterprise Service Management, which focuses on ITIL, the principles. It's the global recognized certification. of IT infrastructural library, and then our new sponsor is Splunk. Splunk curriculum is data analytics, which is really big. Anything from insurance companies to merchandising, anything. So, and within that, it's 8 weeks. It's kind of like a short boot camp style. We kind of start together, we end together, and we have a networking graduation event at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Is there any career coaching or any mentorship in terms of the interviewing process or the resume writing process or the protocol after you have a job interview? What do you do to move this along to make sure you get a second interview?
Right, there is, and we have mock interviews, we have resume reviews from other partners and sponsors, and they come in. Sometimes we go to their site, and that's a great way to get involved too. Is if you want to find out more about npower, just go to visit npower.org, and you could start with just coming in, visiting our classroom, talking a little bit what got you into technology and things that you wish people would have told you. And then from there, it could go into a site visit, go into maybe a pipeline for employment, for internships. The sky's the limit, really, and actually that's how Andy got into his internship at Stanford University.
So what class or what course did you take at npower? How long was it, and then how did you get into Stanford as a job offer?
Yeah, so last September I started the Tech Career Accelerator program at npower. So that covered ITIL Foundation certification within the first 2 weeks, immediately followed by the ServiceNow Certified System Administrator training. So I completed those 2 certifications within the 8 weeks, and in the process, npower was really helpful in terms of helping me brush up my resume, polish my LinkedIn profile, do interviews with employers, and that helped me with the site visit and on-site interview at Stanford University. That led to a 3-month internship, which completed earlier this year, followed by an offer for a job.
So then you have a pretty high success rate in terms of 80% of your graduates either get a job in their selected area,
yes,
or go back to school for additional education. Is that correct?
Right. So that's kind of the goal, and part of when I address the class and the cohorts that we have 3 cohorts a year, by the way, and Andy was our first pilot class we were running a program at the College of Alameda. It was a great program, had a launch event at the USS Hornet. It was very successful. So the npower helps you kind of like pick exactly where you fit in IT, in the tech world.
Now after the class, so you became a software developer, right? You became a coder, and essentially you're coding JavaScript and other apps. Is that correct?
Yes, I was placed on the development team within the administrative systems department.
Did you get that at the beginning, or did you get, if I may say it, promoted to that spot?
I got that at the beginning as an intern. So it was a 3-month internship, and I was able to really start using JavaScript as a programmer. But I continued on with my training, and recently got the application developer certification through ServiceNow, and that builds upon the system administrator certification. So I feel that I'm in a good place where I can customize and implement the system.
As I understand it, there's some corporations that are starting to support your program and say, hey, this is great. You've got military veterans coming out who got great skills in terms of leadership, commitment, delivery, being on time. We'd like to recruit and talk to these people. Is that starting to get traction?
It is, especially with the security clearance. We all come out with one. I think either top secret or just regular secret security, which is great. It's the same level as a congressman. Congressmen have secret security clearances. So,
do you do it like a demo day and have people invite people in to meet the graduates or graduates?
Yes. Well, so we've had an open house, and then we've had a launch event for a new program. We also, our graduations are kind of like that too. We invite all our corporate sponsors and people we have relationships with, like even the VA. We have a relationship with them. They give us a lot of referrals. That's actually how I came to find npower and be employed here in the first place, was at the VA. Somebody was telling me about it, and here I am.
And as a nonprofit, I think I understand the training you give to Andy was of no charge. Is that correct?
Right, it is no charge. We're funded by sponsors and grants, and it's great. We have a lot of national sponsors. You could see them all at npower.org, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this organization.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear it. I'll come back to you. What's in the future for npower that you would like the audience to know about?
Well, We're always looking for new corporate sponsors and more training. So we partnered with Splunk recently, and they have right now a $100 million pledge that they're giving out to nonprofits and some schools, I believe. So we're part of that, where they're offering their curriculum, which would be, I think, approximately $5,000 if you were to take it by yourself, the classes. So we're doing the training, and as a hybrid model, where you come in. Sometimes online is great, but if you get stuck, you need a mentor, you need an instructor to kind of help you get over the hump. So that's why during that 8 weeks, the instructor will be there at a set time every day. So you could still have a job, you could still work. So we have 3 sessions a year for enterprise service management. One starts at the end of September, the other one starts at February, and the last one is in June. Tech Fundamentals, which is in San Jose, starts in January, and they repeat a second class in July of every year.
Good. So Andy, you've got a great start to your career, and it sounds like you're continuing to grow. So I have one final question for you, and that is, what would you say to other veterans who went through the process you've gone through? Maybe they've gone to school in the GI Bill, and they're having the same predicament that you had.
That's a good question. I would encourage people in my situation to explore learning coding on their own. There are a lot of apps and tutorials to learn the basics of JavaScript or Python. After that, I would encourage people to find a training partner, like npower, an organization or a boot camp that could kind of level up your credentials, give you a portfolio of current work. And then finally, I would encourage people to commit for the long term. If people are changing careers or even shifting focus within the industry, I think it's important to realize that it might take 6 months, 1 year, 2 years to get where you need to go.
Well, Pedro, let's let the audience know how they can follow up. I know the website is npower.org.
Yes.
Do you have an email, or is it?
I do have an email. It is my name, pedro.ramotti@npower.org. That's
So Andy, you may have a little following here, I hope, and so if you do have your own website, it appears, being a coder as you are and a programmer, so I'll let you perhaps give your contact information.
Yes, I have my own website. It's andycarey.com. People can reach me at andy@andycarey.com.
Pedro, I want to thank you, and Andy, thank you so much for your time and your information. I really enjoyed meeting both of you and hearing about this great opportunity for really allowing and enabling the veterans who've done so much for the country to be part of a program that helps them move into the private sector. This is Jim Connor. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Game Changers Silicon Valley. Each week, we'll address an area of innovation that may emerge as a game changer of tomorrow. You can subscribe directly to the show by clicking on this Game Changer image, or follow us on our website at gamechangers.tv. We look forward to your continued interest and participation in upcoming shows.